Good morning and welcome everybody to another day here with us at live at the Waterhole, and what a scene to start us off this morning. Wow. Not only do we have some elephants, but now we have a herd of buffalo as well. Amazing. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the first half of the show today. It is wonderful to be back with you all. We had a fabulous day yesterday together. And now I'm looking forward to seeing what the Waterhole has to offer again. And this is my first herd of buffaloes here, everyone. I've seen a few buffalo bulls, but not these buffaloes like a herd coming to Mudwallow. This is fantastic. How cool. Just a reminder to everyone that this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through all of your comments and your questions. I'd love to hear from you. We had some really interesting chats yesterday, discussions, and always learning something new, which is awesome. And that's all thanks to you viewers at home. So let me know where you're watching from. How long have you been watching the show for? Is this something new that you've just discovered, or are you a dedicated fan? I think the heat here at Madikwe in South Africa has brought these animals towards the water, including this herd of buffaloes. How awesome. There is a tiny calf there, everyone. A tiny little buffalo calf. It's just walked behind mom now at the back, but it might pop out again. All right, well, it looks like a warm day here, but let's have a look at what the weather is doing across our locations. Well, we have some awesome interactions here between elephant, buffalo, and zebra. Hi, Gillian. Yes, me as well. Also looking forward to another day of elephant. It's interesting to see these buffalo around here. What that is going to mean for the other animals. It's amazing how the elephants have all grouped sort of on this side, closest to the camera. I think there are a few little ones that are needing to take a bit of a rest. Hi, Bush Barbie. You have asked a very interesting question with regards to predators that specialize in hunting elephant calves. Yes, Bush Barbie, they are, and it's very much specific to certain areas. The realistically the only predator that would be capable of hunting an elephant, specifically younger elephants, would be something like a lion. And it's because lions are in a pride. There's many of them, and together they can work to take down an elephant. Now, an elephant calf, of course, can be very tiny, and therefore probably something, for example, like a big male leopard may have the strength to take one out. But unfortunately for the predators is that young baby elephant calves is that their mothers are usually very big and very protective. So you're not going to find that elephant calf being, that vulnerable to attacks. What we'd find is normally sort of like a younger elephant that's not fully grown yet, being likely to be attacked by something like a pride of lions. It happens very rarely to some extent, but in certain areas, certain prides of lions have learned how to take down a young elephant and hunt them. I know in Botswana, here near us in the Lowveld, there's a reserve called the Klaseri, and there's been some confirmed elephant kills by lions, and they have hunted and killed an elephant. Now, whether the elephant was fully healthy and sort of, at full strength, I can't attest to that. It may have been a sick or injured elephant, therefore making it an easier target for something like lions to hunt. But really, in terms of specialist, as in that is what they specialize in hunting, there's certain individuals that might specialize. I know sometimes there are lionesses that specialize in killing warthogs. It's their favorite meal. Sometimes you've got young leopards that, for example, there was one leopard on a reserve that I used to work on who specialized in killing vulture chicks, because his mom was killed when he was still less than a year old and had to survive, and that was a way that that young leopard could get food and reached maturity, which was amazing. So we find sometimes in dire circumstances, animals adapt to what is around them. And should elephants be the only food source or dominant food source in an area for a predator, they will, for lions, adapt to being able to find ways to hunt them. Although the risk is a lot higher for them because an elephant is so strong. So I hope that makes sense to you, Bush Barbie. I was just having a look here at these elephants that the camera focused on. Do you see how there's some little ones that are resting in the middle? And this is incredible behavior by elephants, how they protect those little ones. The little ones need a rest. They're tired and they want to lie down a bit. And what happens is then all the bigger elephants surround them so that they are protected. Oh, this is so sweet, everyone.
What if you could explore the world from an entirely new perspective? Flying a real drone live without leaving home. This is Nature Eye. Discover our planet's landscapes with a personal guide and a powerful camera. Every flight helps conserve the locations you visit. Book your adventure with Nature Eye.
That was actually a fantastic way to compare the size of a bull elephant to the females. Look how much larger he was. It's such a treat to have such a long view of this little baby just wandering from mom to auntie to grandma. I don't know how they're all connected, but it just seems to be wandering from one body to the next body and learning all about how it walks and how it uses its trunk. And you could just see it. I don't even know what it's doing now. One of the smaller ones has also decided to lie down on the left, but not as small as that other one. You can just see its legs moving about in between there on the right. This elephant in the middle is keeping its trunk up for quite a while. It had a little scratch behind its ear, its eye. Oh, the one at the back is doing the same thing. I wonder if it's to sniff behind it, if that's why it's keeping its trunk up like that. That call that you could hear there almost sounds like a barking dog in the distance, but it is the call of the zebra. Oh, hi, Oliver. Thank you for your question. You want to know if the length of an elephant's tusks is dependent on genetics. And yes, Oliver, genetics does play a large role in the length of an elephant's tusks. It's something that actually is a little bit sad today with regards to elephants' tusks. It's the reason why they were, of course, targeted when ivory was in high demand in the world in the 19th century, 19th and 20th centuries. And so elephants were killed. The ones with the best tusks were killed to get their ivory, to be able to make all sorts of things from it, trade with it. And so what happened is that those very strong genes were actually taken out of the population. And so we've got sometimes even now tuskless elephants. We are, it's an effort by conservation to try and get those genes back into elephants. And that is why what's known as tuskers, whether they mostly are male but can also occur in females, to actually get those genetics spread wider throughout reserves, to put tuskers in various parks where elephants occur so that those genetics can flow into different herds and mix in with them so that more elephants can have better, bigger tusks, so that they can, be restored to what they once were. It's sometimes not necessarily always the length of the tusk, but also the thickness, that has to do with genetics. Generally, male elephants having much thicker tusks than females. But yes, Oliver, it is all to do with genetics, and sometimes some have better genetics than others. Although it has been, I suppose, proven in time that, even without tusks, elephants can still survive and breed and live successfully. However, they do provide a very useful tool for the elephant in terms of being able to get food in the wintertime when there isn't just grass or leaves available to them. Small herd of impala now also making their way towards the water.
I started watching WildEarth during COVID. I decided that I wanted to study more, and I saw that Eco Training Pridelands was doing courses, and I decided to do the 8-week online theory course at the end of last year. There's just so much out there to learn and to experience.
Sign up for an Eco Training digital course today with the promo code to receive 200 Rand off.
And that big elephant there at the back's now having a bit of a rub on that rubbing post. A favorite spot of these ellies. It's just the right height to actually get right underneath them, which is not always easy. Look at that elephant there. Oh boy, it chased that zebra away. Shame. These poor zebras are having a tough time with these elephants around. Finally, these zebras can come down to the water. That elephant bull's decided to move around, possibly also come and find some water eventually. Here we see an elephant right in the center of the waterhole with his trunk on his tusk again. And often with these larger bulls who have some really nice thick tusks, sometimes long, sometimes they are quite short. I mean, that elephant in the center of the waterhole doesn't have the longest tusks in the world, but they do often like to rest their trunk like that, both males and females. It's one of the handy uses of having these ivory protrusions coming out of your skull is that you get to rest your trunk on them. You can see this baby elephant again right near the front of the screen standing between the bigger ones, just having a little bit of a rest there. I think sometimes they get these little bursts of energy and run up and down, and then all of a sudden they need to just take a moment to recuperate. These elephants have gone quite quiet again. There was a moment where it was quite busy, and they all started sort of splashing about and mud wallowing and playing with each other. But now everyone, barring a few of them, I mean, that one on the far right of the screen's just resting with his trunk in the water. Lots just standing around, flapping their ears. think this herd here that has been resting closest to the screen is waiting for a chance to go get some water. There's some big bulls there that keep going back and forth. And I think the herd is quite aware of that, and they want to try and wait until they sort of are allowed in or space is made for them. We'll see perhaps the matriarch. I think the matriarch could be the female that's standing closest to the screen with the little one under her chin. There's also a lot of communication between elephants that we can't hear. So that may already be taking place, which we don't know about. Well, hello, Anna Marie. Thank you for your question. You want to know what the protocol is if an elephant tusk is found? It is different for every reserve, Anna Marie. So for Madikwe, I'm not sure exactly what their protocol is overall, but generally across reserves, you let the section ranger know, or the ranger in charge of the reserve. It could be a conservation manager, it could be a head ranger, any one of those sort of official people in power. They will then come and collect the tusk. It's also part of the protocol is if an elephant dies or an elephant is killed, that the tusks need to be collected and taken away. That then involves also a vet coming so that it can be correctly removed from the elephant, without sort of, although the elephant may be dead, we don't want to make a hack job of getting out the tusks. So it may sometimes involve a vet. And then those tusks are taken from even an elephant kill. What they're done with from there is, I'm not 100% sure on that. Again, Anna Maria, it depends on the reserve, but I would assume they are then taken and put into a vault, just similar to like a rhino horn. It's not something that gets sold or anything like that. So those tusks are then taken and kept, could be used to put into things like museums for education purposes. So yeah, Anna Marie, that is in general what would happen on reserves, but every reserve will be slightly different from one another.
Are you in search of a unique, unforgettable adventure in the wild? Imagine living with the animals you see on TV while getting an inside look at how a live safari TV show operates. We're thrilled to offer this experience through our 7, 14 and 28-day EcoCam experiences. To book your spot, visit wildearth.tv/EcoCam. Come and join us for the bush experience of a lifetime.
I think a lot of these elephants are loving standing in the water because at least their feet are cool. I don't know if they work the same way as me, but I did say this yesterday actually. But if my feet are cool, I really feel like my whole body cools down. So maybe it works the same for these elephants. Oh, there we have some more buffalo, everyone. I wonder if it's the same group. I don't know. But this is such a cool day. Oh my word. I'm very excited. There's one buffalo on the right here that's been having a mud wallow, but I'm particularly keen to see that little calf. If we can get a good view of it coming down to have a mud wallow, that would be awesome. They're coming. Shame they look so excited to get to the water as well. So this does look like a different group of buffalo from the ones that came down earlier. The ones earlier had a baby calf, but there's still a little one there. And here they come to just cool down, have a mud wallow. How wonderful does that sound on a day like today? Before the show started, Tadiwa and I were saying how we would love to be able to do the show while sitting in a swimming pool. That is how hot it is right now. I think it's the real feel here by me is about 37 degrees, and I'm sure it's even hotter by now. Real feel 41 at the moment in the Hoedspruit area. So I understand why these buffalo are enjoying the water, and I'm sure Madikwe is just as warm. I think they've all moved slightly to the right now. There was quite a large buffalo bull that was mud wallowing. So I wonder if they've all gathered together. There they are. Fantastic. Apparently the real field in Madikwa is... Oh, those were the elephants. The real field there is 37. So just nice and toasty. I think that's like 94 degrees Fahrenheit or something, for those of you who would appreciate a conversion. We're getting close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very warm. Well, hello, Cole. Thank you for your question. You want to know if buffaloes sound anything like cows? I would say yes, they do sometimes sound like cows, not always, but there's a particular almost moo like sound that they make when they are walking in a large herd. And I would say that sound does sound similar to cows. It's almost like a meow. And that to me does remind me of cows a lot. But they also do have other sounds which then distinguish them from the cows, but for the most part, and also obviously their sheer numbers, sometimes we get these absolutely massive herds, and so just the sound of all those animals together, the sound of their hooves clicking against the ground, the sounds of some grunts and snorts, you have a particular buffalo herd sound. It's actually one of the coolest things to hear in the bush if you do find yourself lucky enough to ever experience it. It's a very distinct mixture of noises that is like the buffalo herd sound. But yes, they do sort of have a bit of a moo that they do that sounds similar to cows. Over the winter time, when there's not a lot of food around, buffaloes are extremely sensitive to the conditions that surround them. And so without a lot of grass, they will lose condition and they become a favorite meal of things like buffalo. But hopefully now, with a lot more green grass around, we'll see their condition improve quite significantly. Hi, Kendra. You want to know if they have anything similar to the rat, and by the rat, assume you're meaning the impala rat. No. So buffalo don't have a fixed breeding season, although it has been found that the pattern, there's a bit of a pattern in that they tend to have their young in the summer. And that's actually to do with most herbivores that don't have a fixed breeding season like impalas. Because of the amount of food availability that buffaloes then tend to have their little ones in the summer, but you can find buffalo calves all year round. Oh, this is a cool example. Often people get confused between wildebeest and buffalo. Well, you can see the wildebeest just made an appearance there. And look how much smaller it is than this big buffalo bull in the center of the screen. So that was a nice little comparison for you all. There seems to be more buffaloes arriving here, everybody. This is fantastic. Very, very lucky today. I know the saying goes like a pig in mud, but I like to say like a buffalo in mud. It doesn't look much more content than that. And this is a nice example to see the difference between male and female, everyone. The one that's looking towards us here is a beautiful bull buffalo. First of all, the size of him, okay, the actual body size is very large. Look under his chin, he's got that dewlap there, okay. And then on top, on top of his head is that very thick horns. Now, all buffaloes, male and females, have horns. But on this male, you've got what we like to call a scrum cap, something that rugby players wear over their head. It's called the boss, and it's this thickening of the horns over the skull. Whereas if we look just behind this male, we've got a female on the right and its calf, which also I think is a female. I'm not 100% sure. But that female that's lying down, okay, the little one's blocking our view a little bit. But she doesn't have this thickening. Look there. It's very flat on top of her head. In fact, it looks like hair a little bit. And also those horns are a lot thinner and they come out a different shape. So you can clearly see the difference between a male buffalo and a female buffalo. And the reason those bulls have that hardening over their head is for protection. Buffalo bulls, although no fixed breeding season, just like elephants, the males do fight for dominance and mating rights. And when they do that, they hit their heads together very hard. And that helps protect their skull from the impact of them hitting or head-butting one another. You can see a young bull on the left-hand side there, his face just being shown. There's a female that just sat down. That hair in between. There we go. That's a young male there. You can see he's got that boss starting to form on top of his head, but it's not quite as mature as this big bull on the right. We can see this buffalo bull here, just mouth moving over and over again. So he's decided this is the perfect spot to do some ruminating today, or chewing his cud.
This immersive program will give you an in-depth understanding of the African bush in as little as 7 days. You'll be guided by expert trainers who will lead you through the various ecosystems of Africa and teach you essential bush skills. Join Eco Training's 7 or 14-day EcoQuest course and you will receive 500 Rand off whether you sign up locally or internationally using this promo code. Further your journey as a true bush enthusiast today.
love how this buffalo's tail has just gotten stuck in a straight up position. And that elephant has now moved into the water. There's some zebra coming back. So Jamala is really treating us today, everybody. Oh, that elephant just wanted the others to move out the way. But the others are like, oh, come on. We know you by now. You're just throwing your weight around. Hi, Tino. You want to know if the animals can get any sort of sicknesses or diseases from water. Yes, they can, absolutely. It I suppose they um, are much more resistant, is what I'm trying to say, to disease from water, um, as compared to us as humans. Um, I think one of the most sort of common things that, well, I suppose it's not so common, but it particularly happens in seasons of drought, where water holes dry up and animals dig deeper into the water to the water hole to try and get the very last remaining little bits of water, although they wouldn't necessarily choose to drink that, by choice. When there's more water around, sometimes they do get desperate and then they need to do that, and that is something called anthrax, which is a spore bacteria that can be stored for hundreds of years within the soil. And in times of drought, those spores get dug up by the animals, and it's something that they can get into their system, and it is very, very deadly. And basically, the animals suffer. It passes from one animal to the next eventually, until many of them die. It's sort of nature's, I suppose, population control method. It's a natural one that occurs in the world. And then what then eliminates anthrax is the rains, and eventually all those spores are flushed down the river into the sea, and they die because of the salt. But there are other parasites, for example, that can get into their bacteria, which some might not be so resistant to, into their intestines or digestive system, and things. Bad diarrhea, for example, is something that they could get from drinking bad water. It's not always going to kill them. Sometimes it is just something that they have to work through, but they are very, very resistant to waterborne diseases that are infected by animals urinating and defecating within the water. And so they can actually still be able to get what they need out of the water without getting sick. One of the better animals at doing that is definitely the hyena. They are incredibly disease resistant, and so animals could also get worms, something like that, within their digestive system. Perhaps something like stomach ulcers from the bacteria within the water, but it is not as common, and they can withstand a lot more higher concentrations of these bacteria than we would be able to do, Tino.
What if you could explore the world from an entirely new perspective? Flying a real drone live without leaving home. This is Nature Eye. Discover our planet's landscapes with a personal guide and a powerful camera. Every flight helps conserve the locations you visit. Book your adventure with Nature Eye. . . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .
in a way, the little ones do get wrinklier as they grow up, but in terms of elephants are born with wrinkly skin. They have those wrinkles from when they are very, very little, although they're not as prominent when they're small. As they grow up, those wrinkles become more pronounced. But if you look at a little baby elephant's skin, you'll see it's got the little indents in it, those little wrinkles already. It's just waiting for the body to get a bit bigger and the skin to stretch out and build up and grow so that those wrinkles become more prominent. In a way, some of the older elephants do look a little bit more wrinklier than the younger ones, just because they've got their skin is a little bit more saggy. And yeah, life is, they've lived a long life. But you can see these two elephants that are walking away from us. The one is a lot bigger than the other one, but the smaller one is just as wrinkly as the bigger one. So, Esme, elephants are born with wrinkles. They're not like humans who get more wrinkly as we get older. For them, wrinkles are part of what helps them survive in the very, very hot weather like we are experiencing at the moment. And so it's important that the elephants have wrinkles from when they are little so that they can keep the coolness of moisture or water or rain or wet water from the waterhole in those wrinkles, and then for a longer time so that they don't get dry so quickly, and it helps keep them cooler, Esme. That buffalo is still sticking around, everyone. Not phased by the elephants, even there when there was a bit of a turbulent situation, and obviously one elephant decided to make a bit of a noise. That buffalo moved away, but he didn't disappear. He's just moved to another area where something like a zebra or an impala would have raced away very quickly. He's not going to be intimidated very easily. Hi, Lisa. That's a very interesting question. Oh, my word. Would elephants ever be able to drink salt water? No, Lisa, they wouldn't. Just like us and the mammals that we find out here, we need fresh water to be able to survive. So, unlike something like a saltwater crocodile that's adapted to be in the salt and filter through the sodium um, chloride that's in the water, unfortunately, elephants don't have that ability. So, if they only had access to water in the sea, they wouldn't be able to survive. They need fresh water, just like us as humans, we need fresh water. We wouldn't be able to survive with salt water. And that's purely because we can't, it's too high in a sodium level in that salt content. And so we don't get the moisture that we need from it. It's just not compatible with our body functions in order to get the H2O that we need, the hydrogen and oxygen from it that we need in order to survive.
Eco Training's professional field guide course can make your dreams a reality. This comprehensive program comprises 5 months of theoretical and practical training in the African bush with highly qualified instructors in multiple locations. Enroll today and receive 5,000 Rand off using the promo code. If you've just finished school or tertiary education and you want to head into the wild, Eco Training's professional field guide course is for you.
All right, everyone. Well, I cannot believe that it is already 5 minutes to midday here. It's according to Central African time. So, just a reminder that at 12 o'clock, Africam is going to be joining the show. So, we're going to have a few more different locations that we are going to be able to visit, which is very exciting. And so, for all our viewers that are watching live at the Waterhole on YouTube, please be aware that at 12 o'clock, the feed is going to stop. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop watching the show. You can hop on over onto our website or onto the WildEarth app. And then, if you are in the UK, you can use Freeview, or in Southern Africa, DSTV, to continue watching on your television. So yes, indeed, it's almost that time. So just so that you are all aware, we will do a little reintroduction of the show. So we please do want you to continue watching. So if you are watching on YouTube, get yourselves ready to change over to a different platform. Otherwise, for the rest of you, just to stay where you are. All right, everyone, let's get ready to have African join the show. All right, welcome back, everyone. We wanted to start off at Tau Lodge this afternoon, but unfortunately the camera did freeze. So we're back here at Jamala. But soon enough, we're going to head over to one of our African cameras as soon as there is a stable feed for us. But for now, we still get to enjoy these beautiful elephants.